I think I'm live. Oh yeah, I am live. I've been live for a couple minute or a couple of seconds now. I'm just really for. Oh wow, I've got really bad lighting as well. I'm backlit with terrible. Oh, I have no idea. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm on the road. I'm someplace new. But anyway, I'm. This is purely because I did that other rant earlier, complaining about people trying to scam their way into these jobs, and it's just I've been dealing with so many of them. It's crazy the number of scammers that have popped up. I really think there are a lot more recently, and they're obviously using ChatGPT to come up with pure made up CVs, and they're applying to every which job that they can. And anyway, I've gotten a lot better at just getting rid of them, but the number of scammers that come out is crazy. And maybe I should do a video at some point showing all these CVs and how. I mean, most of them you can discard right away, but some of them look almost real, and maybe I should do a video showing them. What I definitely want to make a video about is how you can make sure that you don't look like a scammer and that you look legit if you're a legitimate translator. And because yeah, you have to do that nowadays. You can't just send out your CV and hope that someone will hire you based on your credentials. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Such a huge part of hiring people online is the trust factor. And it's so easy for people to just send their stuff out that, trust becomes such a huge thing. And I mean, literally a majority of what I receive, a vast majority, I would say maybe 70 to 80% of the CVs that I receive are from scammers. People I have to assume are scammers, and I just cannot verify whether they are real or not. And so you definitely, and I'm going to do a video. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a video. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to list a bunch of stuff to make sure that you sound legitimate. I'll change the name of this video to how to not sound like a scammer or something like that. But I'm going to list the ways in which you can show that you are legitimate as opposed to being a scammer, or even worse. And the thing I waste most of my time on is people I'm not sure if they're scammers or not. And so I really need to figure this out. So anyway, look, first of all, like I'm hiring people now who are Italian, Korean translators. Chances are their name is going to sound either Italian or Korean, right? And if it doesn't, then there better be a good reason. And unfortunately, that's the thing. If your name doesn't sound like you should be translating one language to the other one or vice versa, you kind of have to justify it. Unfortunately, online, that's the way it goes. And literally everyone that I receive whose name is not Italian or Korean, I mean, there are other combinations, but whose name isn't doesn't conform to one of those combinations, I can rule them out. There's been one exception so far, one. So I'm glad I've been going through these with a fine tooth comb because there has been one exception and she's a legitimate translator. And in fact, I emailed her about it and said some things about it because I'm like, look, you're obviously legitimate and, I want you to get jobs, but yeah, this can be an issue. And it really can be an issue. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to hire you. And so you want to really conform to what they're looking for. And so, yeah, that's the first thing, unfortunately. Secondly, and I go through this, by the way, for those of you who've taken my course, you know about all this stuff. You're going to have heard of it or read my book and stuff like that. But it's worth reiterating here. Transparency is key. You want to be contactable. You want to be transparent about everything, and so you need to provide ways that people can do that. So I'm talking about email addresses, but also online social profiles, mailing addresses, phone numbers, Skype. Well, you don't have Skype anymore, but stuff like that. They're not going to contact you in all these ways, but the fact that they're available is a huge thing. And it means that there are many ways that this person can contact you. And nowadays, it's even more so than just that. Is that you absolutely need an online profile of some sort, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be pros, whether it be an online CV or something along those lines. You need to show that you have an online profile. I would put an online portfolio. Pros is a great place to do that. And there are various ways of doing that. Again, those of you who've taken my course, you know all this. And but you need to make sure that you have this transparency and that they can verify who you are and what you can do easily. And that's the main thing. And you need to find many ways to do this. Also, I recommend, again, I'm going through all the stuff that I've already listed. For those of you who have taken my course or anything along those lines, I'm going through all this stuff and you've already seen it. But you need to, and along lines of transparency, you need to be contactable. You need to have a photo up for all the places that ask for a photo on LinkedIn, pros.com, stuff like that. A video, pros.com lets you put an introductory video. All these things, by the way, record, the way I'm recording now. I really hope the audio works, by the way, because I realized I didn't even test the microphone. Um, Geez, if it doesn't work, it's such a waste. Anyway, whatever. And then what else? And then obviously all of your work needs to be verifiable or as much as possible. I can't tell you the number of people who say they have a master's in whatever studies, and I look it up and the master's doesn't exist. So link to the department, show a URL link to whatever department, wherever you studied, and any work that you've done, show links to that. Obviously, if you have NDAs, you can't show the exact thing, then that's fine. But that's why you have this online portfolio that you've created with stuff that you can show. And so you need to have one or the other. People need to be able to verify easily that you are who you say you are, that you've done what you can say you've done, and that you can do what you say you can do. And they're not going to want to email you back or contact you for each and every little thing. It needs to be something they can click on and find right away. Otherwise, they're going to go on to the next CV. You really need to make it as easy as possible, have as little friction as possible between them seeing your CV and wanting to hire you. And the number of scams that I'm getting, for these jobs, like I said, is over 50%, well over 50%. The inclination is just to get rid of anything I can get rid of as soon as I can, and then just sticking to, the stuff that I know absolutely is legitimate. And so you want to make sure you're included in that part. So the transparency is key, even before your abilities. Your abilities come into play. Don't worry. The people need to make sure you know what you're doing. But even before that, they're going to get rid of your CV right away if they cannot verify, the transparency part, that you are who you say you are. I can't meet you face to face if I'm hiring you online. I cannot shake your hand and talk to you like that. So you need to find another way to make me trust you. That's the bottom line. And so find a way to do that. Transparency, be contactable, make sure everything that you show is legit and it looks legit, and just show, put a face behind the name, a video, like I said, all these things. And nothing of this should be professional. Don't have a professional photo, don't have a professionally made video, because that kind of looks fake. I want something where you have literally your laptop here where you work from, in your workstation, be like, hi, this is the work I do. And this is how you can picture me while I'm working on your thing. Like, you really want something like that. And anyway, that's it. I really want to keep it to broad rather than get into specifics, because these are the broad things that you need, and they're so easy. And just make sure they're there when you apply for every job. And it really just goes a huge way to make sure that you get past that initial stage, and then they're going to check your skills because you need those skills. But yeah, this will make sure that you don't just get tossed away with the initial 50% or more that are obviously scams, because that's going to be the inclination. So yeah, anyway, I just needed to get that off my chest, and I need to vent, and hopefully you find those points useful, because it's yeah, you need to do that these days. That's it. Now with AI, it's become so easy for people to just come up with random CVs and just throw them out. Luckily, if you're in the business, like I am, and so I'm going through these myself, these CVs, and I know what to look out for, and I know when there's something illegitimate or non-legitimate. Someone said they have a Korean to Italian ATA certification. I know that's not real. Someone said they have a Korean English certification, which is real, but that they've had it for 10 years. And so I know it's not real because it's only existed since 2023. These are things, but someone else might not catch that. And but I mean, yeah, you need someone in the industry to know what they're doing. That's why people, pay attention to the PMs they hire. But anyway, yeah, just make sure that everything is very transparent and looks that way. I can do something a bit more structured and go into detail if you want. I think what a fun video would be to go through the CVs that I do receive, the resumes that I do receive that are scams, and I can show you why they're scams, how I spotted that they're scams, and why they're just getting thrown out. In fact, I'm going to show them with their names and emails and everything, because these guys are scammers and they don't deserve privacy. So yeah, I might do that. If you want me to go more into detail about in this solo video with this topic and kind of structure exactly how to show that you're not a scammer, I can do that as well. I think it's pretty clear. And like I said, those of you who've taken my course, you know this already. But it's just, I mean, I'm just constantly amazed and it's just really frustrating. And I'm wasting so much time on these scammers. And I really wish I could just get down to business and deal with real translators who have real skills and, because it's a pleasure to deal with those. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I will talk to you next time. Hopefully, you guys found this useful and hopefully it can help you out because really, nowadays, it's if you're getting hired online, that's the main thing. It's trust and transparency. So, yeah, I will get back to work now and finish up my stuff because it's yeah, let's get back and hopefully there are no more scammers and I can, start dealing with real stuff. Okay, thanks. Bye. Sabido. And thanks for dealing with my rants once again. Bye. Sabido.